Delhi. He has worked at the Economic Advisory Council to Prime Minister of India. So I just feel this word so big, so very energetic, right? After obtaining the BTech degree from PDPU, he pursued his higher studies from Fletcher School of Law and Diplomacy at Tufts University, USA. Diwakar had co-authored a book on India's policy reforms with Dr. DeBroy and has written book chapters, columns, and open eds for various publications. So I would now request Mr. Diwakar to share his experiences how PDPU actually helped in achieving different destinations of his life.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, excellent. So, thank you, Anurag. I'm not sure if we have met before, but it's lovely to sort of meet you virtually today.
Yes.
Thank you for that. I'll, I think, let me start by saying that I haven't prepared any slide set as such, so you'll have to bear with my face for the rest of the.
I
Uh,
think that's more exciting. Seeing the slides. It's always better to
okay.
hear the alumni directly, and
Uh,
I think whatever is coming directly from your heart.
yeah.
So that will be more exciting. Great.
No, thank you. But let me start by saying one thing. I thank you for the very generous introduction, by the way. I think obviously PDPU and its community has a tremendous role to play in what I've been able to do in my life. But I like the fact how you said that they've achieved great positions as of now. So there's always some underconfidence that we may go off the path, which is on a funny note. But thank you, Anurag. Very very kind of you to prepare that introduction and tell the students. I see there are around 550 odd students. So I'm generally not good at virtual addresses. The live ones make me more comfortable. But let me sort of do this this way in given the crisis that we are in. Um, well, first let me say that I started preparing for this lecture by doing three things. One is I got up late, as most of you will when you will join your hostels. Secondly, I had Maggie for breakfast, which also will be done by a lot of you when you'll join your college and hostel. And finally, I didn't prepare until last night to tell you what I'll be able to speak right now. So you'll be the fact is that even if you're almost 9 years since graduation, you'll be doing more or less the same things that you'll be doing in college. So be aware of what you're doing. I think the way I thought that I can do this is by instead of sort of giving you any advice or any truisms. I'll stick to some 10 insights, 10 lessons that I personally learned during my time at PDPU, and how they are still relevant to me even today. I'll try to sort of tell you stories within it, and if you guys have any questions in the end, we'll keep 2 or 3 minutes if at all. Otherwise, whenever I visit PDPU next, hopefully soon, we can all touch base and talk more. Um, so I think let me start, given the short time we have, and I must also say before I forget, I wanted to sort of clearly mention that I was lucky to listen to the last bit of Professor Sirkar talking about placements. I think you're in really good hands with Professor Sirkar, Professor TP Singh, Mr. Bagaria, who does a lot of work. I think Anurag we haven't done, but I can sense that all of you are in very good hands. So be content and be ambitious when you talk to them. These are excellent people. So let me start with the first sentence, which is that the next 4 years are going to be the best time for you to take risks. And I don't say this just as a very normal, plain statement. I have myself experienced that the kind of risks that you can take in these 4 years are unparalleled to any time in future. I'm an um, I'm an economist, so I generally value things in present terms. So you'll see that the value of risk will be much more in the 4 years. Let me sort of illustrate that with one of the examples. Uh, in while I was in PDPU, I think I wasn't sure what I think I always joke around that when you join engineering, you actually know what you really want to do. Everything else is just peer pressure. So when I was in PDPU, I think I had a chance to sort of interact with people who were extraordinary. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I think Mr. Pandian, who's now with the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, was the one of the key persons who set up PDPU, and I think those people also allowed me to take risks during that time, be it in terms of the internships that you take when you get a chance to do that, be it in terms of the people you like. Take all the risks that you think you can take, because if I look back at those times, more often than not, I laugh at myself. Oh, what did I do then? But imagine if I would have done those kind of things later on. It would have been very high cost and low value in that sense. And I think I have tried to sort of maintain that even in my past job, when I moved from Boston to New Delhi to work with the Indian government, many people sort of said that it's an unnecessary risk. You should work in US and so on. But I think it's worth it. I've learned more. So the first lesson I learned from PDPU is that it pays to take risks at this stage of life. So do take them. Uh, be slightly more adventurous when you take decisions, and be more open to what comes your way. Don't be stuck on I want a government job in a public sector enterprise like many people do. So take risks. The uh, second story about a lesson I learned at PDPU was that a scarcity can sometimes be very good. And when I say that, I think you're in a campus that's very plush. I don't know if you are right now, but you will be once we are over with the crisis. And I think it's a fabulous campus to be in, and it has probably all the best facilities that one can imagine. But when we joined, the campus was still in its very early stages. There was no ground to play. There were no permanent classrooms. But I think that scarcity sort of really helped us sort of overcome challenges that we wouldn't have. I still remember. I don't play. You can imagine from my face that I don't have a build that can play a lot of sports. And if that's true, then I happen to be the person who started the first sports tournament in PDPU. We didn't have a football ground then, so if you guys will move to Gandhinagar, you'll realize there's a Saint Xavier's School in Gandhinagar, somewhere in the city, and we went to the principal of the school and asked him if he could lend us his ground for weekend football matches. And we used to hold, and then IPL, which is going on right now, had just started. And so we asked him, we'll do an IPL sort of a football tournament. Can you lend us the ground? And that exercise itself brought all the students together to do something really nice. We were very lucky that our then director general, I think Professor Kuchatkar, used to visit us and see those matches on weekends. I think uh, that I think is a fascinating story. That even now you'll see some areas in the university where not everything will be perfect. There will be scarcity in one or two areas. Maybe the classrooms will be filled or the electricity will go. My suggestion to you is take use of that scarcity to build something good, and it'll give you lessons which you can really use further in life. And I think I'll move on to the third, given we are clocking on time, and that is that we as individuals generally tend to, and especially as students, generally tend to underestimate our powers and overestimate our passion. As students, you'll ask for the best things. We want the best company to visit the campus and give us a job. We want the best professor to come. And I think it's good. It's good to be passionate. It's good to ask for more. But at the same time, we must also not underestimate our power. As students, you can do a lot of stuff um, that is in your power. And let me illustrate that with one story. When I was in my fourth year, and we had companies coming to the campus for placement, the first company that came was called Halliburton. For those who are in the petroleum engineering branch, would know that Halliburton is a fairly respected company. And when they came, they said, we're just going to interview 10 people, or I think 12, something around that. And I was part of the team that was the student team that was working with the placement group. And I don't know what happened. I just asked the director then if I could just go and talk to the Halliburton HR as a student representative, obviously. And I just went, and I said, "Sir, you should take more interviews for this batch. I think it's a 240. Uh, it's a batch of 240, and I think just 10 is not doing justice to it. It's pure luck. I wasn't, some persuasive person or anything like that. I was as normal as anything else. But the HR actually said, okay, we'll take 15 more, or 20 more, something around that, but almost two times more. And I think 30 people got interviewed instead of 10, and more people had chances. The fact is that just the idea of using your power in where you stand can earn results which you can't imagine. So don't hesitate in doing what's in your hand. I think that's true for whatever you do in life in future as well. The fourth thing that I think is important is a 404 principle that I always talk about whenever I talk to students. And the 404 principle is that focus on at least four things in 4 years that you will do in an absolutist sense, that you will not compromise, and you can choose what you want. I think I know of a friend who said that I will never cheat in the next 4 years. I don't know if he actually followed through or not in exams, but he actually practiced that, or he committed to that. And I think that's something that's for you to decide. What four things you can keep as four absolute things that you will not budge on. I don't know. It can be anything from not bunking classes to not cheating in exams to not wasting food in the hostel canteen uh, to anything that you think. And one thing, my suggestion would be, out of the four, keep one thing that is focused on institution building. You are a part of a university that's in comparison to the global universities is still younger in its age. And I think there are ample opportunities through which you can build this institution. You can either focus on doing some extraordinary research. You can start an IPL like tournament that I did when I was there. You can do all sorts of things, but just make sure that you focus on that. Um, the fifth insight I have for you is that it always makes sense to do the math when you're taking a decision in the next 4 years. And when I say math, I mean calculating the impact of your decision when you take it. And the decisions can be very simple. Should I go to the class in the morning or not? It's a simple decision. You have two options. Either you can sleep your way through, and you will be tired after playing all the video games at night and watching all the movies, or you can choose that I can go. Think about it. You will be taking X number of classes in a semester, paying Y number of rupees for that semester. Just divide the number of class hours by just divide the fees by the class hours, and you will see the per hour cost. I think back then I calculated it came fairly decent, and I was like, why am I wasting this much money just for half an hour of extra sleep? So it's tempting to, in behavioral economics, we generally call that present bias, that you value the present more than the future. But I think it always makes sense to do the calculation before sort of taking any decision. The sixth thing I have is that in these 4 years, there will be times which will be slightly on the rough side, which will be stressful, which will be strainful in all manner. I remember when I was at PDPU, we had this. I hope there still exists a rural internship right after the first year, and we went to Kutch in Gujarat, and it was hot, and we used to. I think the situation was such nobody was at fault that we used to sleep on the roof of a school for a few days because it used to get so hot at night that it was very difficult to sleep in room. Um, Everybody used to complain, and that time even I complained. I was like, it's so difficult to stay here. How can what are we learning? Is this engineering? But the fact of the matter is that I still remember that. I may not remember what I learned in the petroleum physics course back then, but I still remember the lessons I learned during that rural internship, which were hard and stressful. So you'll forget the formulas for various engineering theories, but you will remember these experiences. So make sure that you live through them rather than avoiding them. It makes sense to go to a rural internship rather than say I'm not well and I need to go back home. Okay. Many people tried that during that time, but they were caught. So the people over here are smart, so don't make excuses. The seventh thing that I had is that um, you'll be in an ambitious journey forward. From what I learned is that you get what you want by two things. Uh, One is that you don't want it, you're indifferent towards it, and you just get it naturally. Um, let's say the university president is Mr. Ambani. His son didn't want all the wealth, but he was born in that family. So he got it just by the virtue of being born. So that's one thing when you get some precious things. The second is that you go mad like a dog behind it, that you really want it and you struggle hard and you don't give up. I think during PDPU, a lot of my fellow classmates, and I think I as well, were very keen to sort of find a good job. And we worked hard. We knocked all doors. We did some crazy things like went to that Halliburton HR to get more people interviewed, and it never ended. So the point is that you got to want it really bad, and this applies to the boys and girls who like each other. You'll have to really try hard to attract the other person. So make sure you want it bad. The eighth thing that I have is that when you don't have something, it's always better to ask for it. I remember there was this Tata Sky ad that used to come on television, which said, and I'm sorry for those who don't understand Hindi, I'll translate it, which says that, पूछने में क्या जाता है, which essentially means that what's the harm in asking? And I think it's better to ask than not to ask. There will be resources, there will be systems in place, but uh, you may want something completely unique. It could be a subscription to one of the online resources. It could be, uh, doing something that is not done in the university rules. So ask for it. At best you'll get no, but if you don't ask, you'll be anyway not having it. So that's the eighth thing. The ninth thing, and I think my sort of people who are in petroleum engineering will appreciate that once they go forward, especially because there's a clear power in keeping some time for exploration. Let me narrate a story on that. When I went to the Fletcher School at Tufts, given my energy background, I used to take all the energy courses, energy policy, petroleum, and I used to thought, this is the best way to study my policy course. Um, it so happened that when I was doing my summer internship, Brexit happened. So Britain exited Europe, and they were looking for a volunteer who would write a paper for the Prime Minister, then Mr. Modi, about how Brexit will impact India in the medium and long term. And I didn't know much economics then. I was an engineer who did some work at Kane and then studied some public policy. And I raised my hand saying, I would like to do it. and I didn't know if I'll be able to do it, but I said, let me give it a try. And they were very kind to sort of allow me to work on that. And it so happened that that part actually changed the course of my future career like nothing else. When I went back, I took most of my courses in economics. I joined the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, which was, had I not raised my hand, I don't think I would have got that job. And right now, I also do economics. Many of you will see that the Indian Finance Minister and the British and her British counterpart are will be meeting today, and you will be reading about that in the news tomorrow. The fact is that I don't think I would have been able to engage in all these subjects which I dearly like right now had I not given some time to exploration, had I not kept an open mind. A lot of you will feel, we are mechanical engineers. We want to go into uh, Tata Motors or one of those hardcore mechanical engineering companies. I think you should keep an open mind because the things that you can explore by just going into places that are different from what you have thought can give you immense results. Uh, Finally, I think the last lesson I have to offer is that it's better to maintain some level of financial independence and work towards it as you go on. And why I say that is it gives you the opportunity to take risks. Um, you're at PDPU. There are many ways to be financially independent. You could take a loan to pay your fees, and how that helped me when I was at PDPU is that it really pushed me to find a job because if I didn't find a job, I would not be able to pay the loan back. So I think create enough financial, even if your parents can afford. This is purely for independence sake, to make sure that you're stretched hard during these 4 years to do what you want to do. And I think these risks will ultimately pay back. And financial independence is a key thing. And again, had I taken a big loan to study in US, I don't think I would have been able to come back to India at half the salary and take that risk to work for the government. So I think it's a very important thing that we as individuals need to value when we move in the next 4 years. And since I have 3 minutes remaining, I believe, in my time. So, and I've given you 10 insights from my path. I'll give you a bonus one, and that is that whatever decisions you make, many of you will end up regretting them later. This is Decisions can never be perfect. You have to make them perfect later on by doing the right thing. So whatever decision you'll take, you'll always feel, what if I would have gone to the other side of the path? What if I would have, what if I didn't join PDPU and let's say join an alternative that was available to me? Would my life have been better? You'll always think about this. What if I didn't take this job and took some other job? What if I didn't do BTech? I did something else. So I think in that sense, no decision that you take will be perfect. Make sure that you make it perfect by taking the right actions in future. I also felt that when in almost all the decisions I've taken. And finally, from my side, I think it's easy to sort of complain when you'll be in PDPU. Um, and there's a very good Pakistani poet which I happen to like a lot, Ahmed Faraz, who actually said that I think the line goes like शिकवा जुल्मत शब्द से तो अच्छा था अपने हिस्से की क्षमा चलाते जाते, which essentially means that instead of criticizing, complaining of all things that come our way, it would have been better uh, that in the darkness we lit our own candle. And that's what I expect all of you to do at PDPU, to light your own candles and to contribute something through your mind, through your work, through your volunteerism, through your hard work, anything possible to build this institution and come up with 10 new insights when you will be in my position delivering this lecture to the induction batch in 2030. Thank you for that. Thank you. I'll stop there. I'm conscious I've run over my time.
No, no, Diwakar, it was amazing to have this. It was really, really interesting. It was a festive time, your 10 commandments and a bonus. We really enjoyed. I'll just summarize, like, I mean, I was making a notes of what you were, putting forward, and something which I really agree to most of the things. Like, government jobs are not the final destination. Yes, there's so many things beyond, the persona of the government jobs. Very interestingly, I liked your statement when you said scarcity make use to make something good. Really nice. I mean, we are affluent, but still in that affluence, there's some scarcity. So why not we make use of that scarcity? Don't hesitate. Very importantly, Diwakar, many of our students really have that, they are shy. They don't speak out. So, for that, TP Singh sir is taking so many initiatives, like we had Best Speaker Award. And the only thing what we was wanting is come and speak. So that is, so don't hesitate. And the thing you mentioned, 4 things, 4 years. That equation, I mean, that is a very good jingle. And in that, you said that one thing for institution building. Yes, I mean that makes, if all of us decide that okay, one thing we are going for the institution building, PDPU will really have new heights to actually scale. The thing which you put in an economic perspective, cost of a class, वो मुझे ना बहुत टच किया कि इतना फीस दे रहे हैं, तो what is the cost of a class? And in that cost, it's not only time and money both. So आधा घंटा आपने lose किया, तो you have lost the time as well as money. I mean, I think that really goes a very long way in how do we maintain a good attendance in the class. So very important. Have good experiences in life. So it's not about only attending classes, it's all having some good experiences, and that would actually help you to grow as a person. If you don't have it, ask for it. So yes, sometimes, as what in the first point, like पूछ लो, बात कर लो, थोड़ा डिस्कस कर लो, तो बहुत सारी चीजें शायद उसमें से निकल सकती हैं. और ये जो आपने बात कही ओपन माइंड की, वो सच में इतनी इंपॉर्टेंट है. एंड वी आर हैविंग अ वेरी स्ट्रॉन्ग स्ट्रैटेजी इन पीडीपीयू टू टॉक अबाउट इंटरडिसिप्लिनरीनेस. लाइक कम आउट ऑफ योर शेल्स. मैकेनिकल वाला बंदा है, तो क्या वो एनवायरमेंट वाला काम नहीं करेगा? सो ऐसा नहीं है. ये सारी जो बाउंड्रीज है ना, वो काल्पनिक है. वी ऑल हैव क्रिएटेड मैकेनिकल, सिविल, ये हमने बनाया है. एक्चुअली प्रॉब्लम्स व्हेन दे कम, दे डोंट कम टू अ डोमेन, दे कम एंड वी हैव टू एक्चुअली सॉल्व इट. और मुझे ये जो आपका जो लास्ट वाला जो बोनस वाला था, दिवाकर, दैट वाज समथिंग रियली नाइस, बिकॉज decisions are never perfect. I mean, sometimes the regret actually takes all of our energy, कि मैंने ये किया होता तो क्या होता. इतना अच्छा, सो इतना मजा आया दिवाकर. आई थिंक ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स वुड हैव रियली एंजॉयड. और ये सारे आपके जो पॉइंट्स आपने एनलिस्ट कराए हैं, जो आपके अपने अपने एक्सपीरियंस से कहे हैं, दैट वाज वेरी वेरी नाइस. एंड एज आई विल रिक्वेस्ट ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स व्हेन दे कम टू कैंपस, जो दिवाकर ने जो लास्ट बात कही, जब आप टीपी सिंह सर के केबिन में जाएंगे, तो एक उनका एक शीट है, उसमें लिखा है, आर यू अ पार्ट ऑफ प्रॉब्लम और सोल्यूशन? So, when we are walking down to somebody's office, are you going with a set of problem or solution? So, जो आपने बात कही ना कि there are many ways, like you can keep criticizing, but do you have some solutions also? So that's really nice. मुझे बहुत मजा आया, and all, I think all the students would have enjoyed a lot. So a big round of applause for you, Diwakar. Thank you so much, and I hope that we'll be having you on campus also. आपसे actually में भी बात करेंगे, and I hope our students would really have a very nice time.
No,
I
no.
think TP Singh sir would like to say something. I'm seeing him on the screen. Sir, सर आप म्यूट हैं.
Yes, Diwakar. Yeah, I can make out from the color of your cheeks that you're doing very, and you're enjoying your job also. I'm very happy about you. Uh, Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and sharing your views, sharing your philosophy with the students. Thank you very much.
No, no, sir. I think without your math lessons, which I still use, I don't think my cheeks would have been as red. So thank you for that. I still have to study multivariable calculus for my job. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Okay, Diwakar. So lovely talking to you, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and all the best to you and everyone.
Thank you very much.